Count it down whenever you're ready.
Yep, I know the drill. All right, going to count you down from five, stopping at three, live in five, four, three.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to What You Gotta Say. As you know, it's Freestyle Friday, and my co-host, comedian extraordinaire, Sandy Hackett. Say hello, Sandy.
Hello, Sandy. How are you? Oh, it's me talking to myself. I'm getting old and I've been lonely with COVID.
Well, the best thing about senile is that when it hits you, you never know it. But
That's right.
but so we're going to talk about some events that happened this week, and we'll see you all in 2 minutes, 2 seconds.
Okay, we're on break. We're still
Okay,
live for the viewers at home
excellent.
for this stream.
The viewers at home are seeing us.
The ones on the stream,
Yes.
Hi, viewers. Can I get a recipe for chocolate pudding, please?
yeah. So, yeah. So I think we found two houses that my wife likes.
Two houses?
Mm-hmm. So
Are
we
you
put
looking
them.
for a new dwelling to cohabitate in?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. We're looking to. Well, let's look at it. I mean, we're up in our age, and daughters, and what, junior year college. Hey, it's time to downsize.
Downsize.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Get in something that's easy, quick, nice to manage. And I'm not truly in a retirement condominium yet, but getting close to that. Yeah.
1 minute
I keep
warning.
driving by retirement, not like old age homes,
Hmm.
and I go, "Oh, I wonder what that is." And my wife says, "That's where you go when." Never mind.
That's where you go when Viagra no longer works. Okay.
All right, 30 seconds.
Oh man, look, sitting up under all these lights, I feel like doing this. Like, God. This-
Did you want to come back with the slides or?
we'll start with the conversation. You can bring the slides in as we talk about it.
Okay. All right, going to count you down from five, stopping at three, live in five, four, three.
Well, what we're finding out right now is that the newest medical emergency happening in Washington today is memory loss. So, potential speaker, or wants to be Speaker of the House, actually became the leaker of the House, and now is under fire from the Republican Party. Uh, Kevin McCarthy, where he, first started out, and he doesn't remember doing this. He started out saying, how horrible the insurrection was, and how terrible January the 6th was, and even and then the next thing you know, 3 days later, he was in Mar-a-Lago kissing the ring, bending the knee. Well, he said that he never did anything or talked bad about Donald Trump, and he's been all for him. But the released phone tapes came back, and it says how he was so against the insurrection and what was going on. He was calling everybody to beg, Donald Trump to tell everybody to stop and go home. He even was going to make a call out to everybody's favorite sexual predator, Matt Gaetz, and he wanted to tell him that he had to tone down his rhetoric. But And he also stated on this phone call that if if Twitter could basically shut down Donald Trump, why can't they do the same thing for Matt Gaetz and everybody's favorite clan mom, Marjorie Taylor Greene?
I don't know how they look. It's impossible to deal with this stuff because there's no shame. There's no shame for lying. Marjorie Taylor testified a week ago Friday. No shame for her lies, for her
Oh,
interminable.
another one having memory loss.
Yes, I don't recall. Are you denying it? No, I'm not denying it. I'm just saying I don't remember.
Yes.
And oh, by here's your tweets up here. You don't remember you putting that up there? Was that you? Well, I'm not. It might have been someone from my office. How about you? How about this person speaking there? Is that you? Well, yes. It looks like me. It appears to be me. I
It's her
mean, is that how we answer the question? Is that you? It appears to be me. So when I just asked you if you said that statement, here you are. Just take a look. Yeah, I appear to be, but I believe you've taken it all out of context. I lost your audio.
Okay. Are we back?
Now you're back.
Okay. Yeah, appears to be out of context. So that person making that statement, that was her evil twin.
No, that was her. The evil twin is in Colorado. Her name is Lauren Boebert. They're fraternal twins. And they look nothing like each other, although Boebert would look really good on a broom. Just my opinion. The Fire Stick 2000 from the Harry Potter movies,
yeah.
And Marjorie Taylor Greene, they should just, use her as the Kidditch ball.
Oh no, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think her and her twin sister both have matching Klan hoods. Oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the one who has been posting all of this rhetoric. Now she can't remember what she said, so she doesn't remember saying that that all Jews have laser cannons up in the sky in the satellite.
Wow, we have tried so hard to keep that a secret.
If you had laser cannons, how come none of you used them on her?
Because that would be a waste of energy. Vaporizing her would be a waste of energy. As long as she's out there telling people about it, they won't believe we have it. The fact that she discovered it is beyond me. We don't know how that happened, but we have to keep those laser cannons. Oh, I'm talking about it on air. And I can't wait to testify and say, did you say that, Mr. Hackett? I don't recall.
Oh yeah, and she had that candlelight vigil waiting for John, one of the Kennedys, to rise from the grave.
Yes, and today in the news, apparently Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert got into it at the GOP CPAC convention and were arguing and had to be separated because Lauren Boebert was mad that Marjorie Taylor Greene went to a white supremacist rally and didn't take her. And so she said, well, what are you mad about? She said, you could have taken me. I could have been your +1. I mean, my goodness.
Well,
go back to Kevin McCarthy for a second, because this is just astounding. And to all the people that want to defend Trump and the Trump supporters, and God bless you people. And it's one thing to have a political point of view and that make America great again. All that's fine. But the process in which you do it and you are prepared to give up your own right to democracy, your own right to vote, because you think by denying black people voting or minorities voting that that's going to be okay and you'll be in charge. But eventually someone in charge like a Donald Trump will take away your right to vote, and he'll become a Putin, and he wants to bring out the military, and he wants to declare martial law, and he wants to do anything to keep you from doing anything and suck the money out of you so that he can be the strongest, most powerful, richest person in the world.
Yes, by having a whole bunch of dummies that follow him and believe everything that he says.
Yeah, and that's really sad, because it's one thing to have a difference in politics. And Vincent, you were a Republican at one time, and I don't know what you consider yourself now, but Republican values are one thing, but these people don't have Republican values. They have no morals. Oh. It's okay to lie. It's okay to lie about the lie, and it's okay to insist that that's the truth and make laws based on a lie to protect yourself from something that didn't happen. It just doesn't make sense. And for God's sakes, you people out there, if you're listening and if you're a Trump supporter, please just at some point just find some common ground where you go, okay, yeah, no, when you say when they're calling this election fraud the big lie, you know why they're calling it the big lie? Because 60 Republican courts and judges said nothing happened. There was no Bill Barr, who was Trump's choice to be the attorney general, said, sorry, boss, there was no corruption. Nothing wrong happened. It was a clean and fair election.
No voter irregularities that would have brought about a significant change.
Well, there's always some, but the some are such an infinitesimal. Some guy voted,
Three.
put a vote for his dead mother, right?
Mhm.
It's ridiculous. There's always something, but it's nothing on the line of the 7 million people. And honestly, sometimes Trump, when he lies, he's telling us a different truth. And what I mean by that is he says,
Oh, the
wait,
alternative facts.
yeah, well, bear with me here. Her thing was alternative facts, but Trump will tell us things like when he called Georgia to say just find 11,000 something votes. You can find 11,000 votes. He's telling us what he's doing. He's telegraphing. So by saying this election wasn't fair, I personally don't believe that Trump actually got the amount of votes he got. Because if we go back to the 2016 election, you go, what did he get? 40 million, 45 million votes?
Right.
And then all of a sudden he got 70 million votes
All of a sudden.
in a down economy, a COVID economy, problem after problem. And you're going, and 30 more million people said, yeah, I like the job he's doing. I think I don't think so. But the Democrats don't bring up that, oh my goodness, there was indiscretion here or lies or anything, because their guy won. So Trump said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to shock that Biden and we're going to get 70 million votes and we are just going to kick his ass. And what Biden did, and all the people that didn't want Trump, they went and got 80 something million votes. And Trump said, wow, we didn't steal enough.
Oh, no. Biden got 80 million votes out of suitcases and brought them to the election booths. And that's what they used. Come on. The big lie. Never. I mean, the lie that just keeps going. Oh, by the way, for the record, the reason I stopped becoming a Republican was twofold. One, I can think for myself. And two, I don't care what other people think about me. So to Republicans or the Republicans here in the Camden County GOP, still, toting that, they're like, oh, you need to tote the line. I said, Trump's an idiot. What do you want me? You actually think that I believe this crap? So then I got blacklisted.
Can they do that to a black guy?
They did. So no, now what a Republican affiliation, I'm independent. I like to, because look, first of all, the object of being a Republican to me, I'm a Republican based upon a Republican foundation. It was founded on the way of understanding that every man should be considered a man. With the Federalists and Alexander Hamilton, and that slavery was initially wrong. Although, and the simple fact that the Democrats in the South were getting stronger because they had more money, because they were using questionable rules of labor, better known as slavery. I'm a Republican because you know what? I am conservative. In fact, there are not too many people of color that aren't conservative because we don't have a lot of money. So conservative values and understanding, but this other crazy stuff, laser cannons, blaming crime on one person, exploiting another person, filing a candidate who's going to, who tells you that he can shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and won't get arrested. Come on. I mean, that's just too much. And I'm all into, I believe that one of the best parts about being in government and being a politician is that you can write laws and make policies to better mankind and humanity, not use it to exploit people, oppress them, and lock them down to have them doing, less than minimum wage, make less than minimum wage and call that fair. No, I became a politician so that we can remove some of the stereotypes and stigmas that are going on, so that government can that somebody can get in there and actually fight for what's necessary. No. See, I wasn't, no, they had it all wrong with me. They thought I was going to be Herschel Walker. A man who's talking all of white Republican rhetoric, yet he's black. No, that doesn't work for me. Okay, so if anybody else want to know my views, political views and opinions, hey, do what you're doing now. Post it on my Facebook, and we'll have some conversations about it. In fact, one day I'll put the phone line on there, and we can discuss it on the air. So I'm Vincent Squire with co-host comedian extraordinaire Sandy Hackett, and we'll be right back.
Okay, we're out.
Okay, so this is what the Republican Party did, and if you've seen anything,
Just so you know, I'm also conservative and Republican, but Trump, I drew the line at and went, I'm not that.
no, I drew the line where they were like, "Oh no, you got to toe the line." No, I'm not towing that line. This is bullcrap. This is
First, I'm an
complete.
American. I want the best person. I think Barack did a very nice job as president. You
Well,
know, and even when Bush was there or Reagan, I mean, except for Nixon, all the presidents we have are, whether they make a mistake or not, we can debate. But their ideology is, I want to do what I believe is best for the country. And
right.
at no point has Trump ever said, I want to do what I believe is best for the country. What he said,
No,
I just want to do what works for me.
no. What Trump did was best for him. I mean,
Right.
he goes to China and his daughter gets a $50 million merchandise deal. Really?
Yes, really.
Come on. That's some bullcrap.
But he's telling his people, we're going to make everything in America.
We're going to
We're
make
bringing
America
all the
great
jobs
again,
in
again,
America.
again. Yes, exactly. And you know what? The problem with making America great is one of the things that I believe doesn't make America great is division and lies about division. That doesn't make America great. What doesn't make America great is exploiting a person because of their color. What doesn't make America great is having a bunch of dumb, idiotic yes men that'll do whatever you say. That doesn't make America great. That makes America morons. The one thing that America does not need is to follow a leader that's not doing any good. And look, don't get me wrong, Barack had some issues, but I think he did fundamentally what he believed was great for our country and better for our country.
Every president has had some issues, and you know,
Mhm.
whoever you are as president, Republican or Democrat, when you go in there, you have a 40% base that supports you, whoever you are. You've got 40% that wanted the other guy, and then you got 20% of the population that goes to one side or the other, depending on what they like during that election cycle. And that's the way the country operates. And
Mhm.
we have to, but if no matter what side you're on, when Bill Clinton became president, I wasn't personally a fan of his.
I'm going to bring you guys back in.
Go ahead.
We're back.
No, keep talking. Go ahead.
Oh, when Bill Clinton became president, I wasn't a fan of his personally, but he was our president. And we have to hope that he operates in the best interest of the country. And the same with Bush, and the same with Reagan, and the same with Barack, and the other presidents in my lifetime. And we hope that they're operating in the best interest of the country, and they get enough people of the 20% to sway to their side that they can get the legislation passed to do something, and we move forward. And then if we've made a mistake, the next time we change presidents or Congress, we look and review that stuff and go, okay, let's either fix this or change it or whatever. But you can't have someone like a Trump who only wants to be in charge to be in charge.
Oh, then he can deem himself strongman, dictator, or like Putin. I'll be president for the rest of my life because anybody who wants to run against me, I'm going to kill him. I mean, that's what's been going on. So look, I don't. The problem that we have is this: we don't understand the power of our vote or civics of government because we believe that our vote doesn't matter, which is and people of color are caught dead in the middle. When you talked about the 40 and the 20 that they usually go for are the people of color. So and here's the thing, and for those of you who are watching, here's politics 101. Republicans don't go after the votes of people of color. They could, but two things happen. One, Republicans don't do very well in terms of policy or change that affects or helps people of color. And number two, Republicans feel like they're not going to get your vote, so there's no need to go over there. Democrats don't petition strongly in neighborhoods of people of color. Why? Because you give it to them. You never hold their feet to fire. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all Democrats are bad, but you do have some do-nothing Democrats that have been in power for a long time, yet you never changed them. You said, well, what has he done? What has he done for your district? What has he done for this? What has he done for that? Nothing, but he comes to our chicken dinners when we have fundraisers for him. Really? That's it? But that's my political 2 cents. But speaking of politicians, 45 has endorsed Dr. Helmut Oz, that celebrity star power, once again. Now, Dr. Oz has opposed them on just about everything known to man. But now, all of a sudden, Trump, he goes to Trump, he kisses the ring, and Dr. Oz, who was a very well-respected heart surgeon, and even, Oprah even got him his own show, has now turned the tables on the democratic process.
Well, I'm not a Oz fan, but the thing about this is that I live in California. You're in New Jersey, where Pennsylvania is nearby. But honestly, this isn't going to be your vote. We can sit and talk about this to the viewers out there and stuff like that. But this is going to be, and that's the interesting thing about politics, because I can sit in California and go, why did Joe Manchin, not vote for something, or why did he vote for something? But I still live in California. I got to worry about my representatives representing me. Are they doing the work of their constituents? So, we have yet to see what Dr. Oz may or may not be. One, if he'll get elected. I mean, the state went Democratic last time for Biden, and there's all this election fraud bullshit running around, and you just don't know what this impact of Trump's going to be. But the more I see him, the guy looks unhinged. Trump, he looks unhealthy. I don't know that he can handle another political election, honestly, season and stuff like that. The rallies he goes to and the things he said are you can't hold a course of thought. And the people and the rallies are smaller and smaller and smaller until he's just going to get up, go to the bathroom, and talk to his dick. Which I mean,
he spoke to Matt Gaetz. I mean.
Yes, that would be one of his dicks. Anyway, look, and not only that with Trump, but he's got a lot of legal things coming up. And I personally, look, we all have stress in our lives, and when you have a little bit of stress, and Trump's they're coming after him in New York, they're coming after him in Georgia, they're coming after him in Florida, they're coming after him in Washington. For the insurrection. I mean, how much
they're coming after his constituents. Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke before the January 6th commission, and now her district, the people who campaigned to have her elected, they are now basing a case off of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which states a person engaging or giving aid to insurrections or insurrections, rebellion, or uprising are ineligible to serve in the House or Senate.
Yes, and that that case is happening. She had to testify last week, and as we were talking about before, she, conveniently, I don't remember even looking at herself on the screen, and that to me is amazing. When you look at yourself on the screen, is that you? Well, it appears to be me. That's not, what happened to yes and no answers with, even what they did to Judge Ketanji Brown. But what's great about Judge Ketanji Jackson is she's now been confirmed. She's going to be a judge, and all this stuff that was hot and heavy in the news has disappeared, and she's going to become one of our Supreme Court justices, and that beautiful brain of hers will be put in the legal system, and the little Ted Cruzes of the world will pick at her, but she's now in a position. But the same way that Amy Coney Barrett is, and Brett Kavanaugh, the alleged rapist is. So I don't know what to think about any of this stuff. And meanwhile, it's amazing how quick this stuff makes the news cycle, then dies down. Clarence Thomas's wife is still out there. None of this stuff has been resolved.
And because of that, he should be recused. He should be off the bench.
Yeah, I agree. But look, this next election cycle, which at the moment everybody's predicting the Republicans will win the House, and that's what they're predicting. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but that's what they're predicting, and so that will change a lot of things. But I personally, in my heart of hearts, I don't know that Trump. I don't believe in my heart of hearts that Trump's going to run. I just think he's got too many things going against him. And
I think he'll be indicted and in prison before the election.
I hope so. I think he needs to serve time for all of his transgressions.
But so let's look at this. Now, Trump has endorsed Dr. Oz and Herschel Walker, two people who have some level of celebrity status. And it seems to be doing well because they're both leading in their polls.
Well, but Herschel Walker is leading in his poll in Georgia on the Republican side. He really doesn't have a challenger. He's got celebrity. He's got, he was an athlete. He's got fame. So he looks like he's going to be the Republican candidate. But Raphael Warnock right now leads him by 4 or 5 points with a plus or minus of 3 points. So it's going to be close. But Raphael at the moment seems to have the lead in a head-to-head race.
Well, one thing Reverend Warnock has that Herschel Walker doesn't is the ability to tell the truth. They spent just as much money on fact finders for Herschel Walker than they did on Donald Trump. He claims he graduated valedictorian. He never even graduated.
That's sad because he had an incredible athletic career, and you would think, look, there have been great athletes that have springboarded. Bill Bradley became a senator, was a New York Knick, was a world champion, and became a senator. So but he told the truth, or mostly the truth. He didn't make up that he did something that he didn't absolutely do. So. That's. I hope the voters of Georgia see that in Herschel and go, "Hey, man, you were a great football player, but you were nobody's valedictorian."
Yeah. Well, he also claims to have the richest African American owned company in the United States. They found out they can't even find out that he actually owns any of that company.
Well, I don't know. Maybe while he was sleeping one night, Trump snuck in and took his Heisman Trophy and took the football player thing off and put valedictorian on the bottom. And he thinks, oh, I must have been the valedictorian. I don't know.
So what is it about the celebrity status that works for male candidates, but it hasn't done anything for the women candidates? Well, let's look at it. Cynthia Nixon. I mean, the Nixon brand. She lost.
But what did I don't remember what she ran for.
I think she ran for senator.
Where?
California. I'm kidding. We're going to check that fact after the break. Okay, how about Roseanne Barr? She lost.
Well, what did Roseanne run for?
Good question. Oh, okay, here's one. Shirley Temple. She lost. House of Representatives.
Where?
Believe in. I think she was in California. Yeah, I think she had residence in California.
Well, that one. I mean, look, she was a great actress. Roseanne, a funny comedian, and maybe but she's also very controversial with the things that she says. So she may have alienated enough people to, and I don't know, I don't remember Roseanne running for office. Oh. And Cynthia, I kind of remember running, but I don't think she ever got any traction. And it's always amazing to me when people throw their hat into the ring, presidential candidates and CEOs of companies and stuff like that. And then quickly, I mean, the Republican field, when Trump jumped in, was like 30 people at one time. Yeah. And one by one, they all dropped out. And Trump attacked them personally. He would stand on the stage and attack everybody. So I don't know, but it's a matter of finding the right candidate with the right message. And there may be a celebrity that comes along, a female celebrity that comes along and uses that to her advantage. I don't know, but when the time is right, the time will be right. And look, Hillary Clinton was not a celebrity, but she had more votes than Trump in 2016. But the way the Electoral College works, somehow she's not president.
Yeah. Oh, well, we're gonna go to break, but before we go to break, you know what I found this year's irony?
No, what?
To me, irony this year has been a member of the House who's being charged with having sex with underage girls, yet grilling a judge for giving a light sentence on child pornography.
Wait, you lost me there. Are you talking about Matt Gaetz?
Yes.
What about the judge? What are you saying about the judge?
Well, he was grilling Judge Brown for being soft on offenders of child pornography.
Uh,
I'll explain it later. Okay, we're gonna take a break.
We'll go to break. We'll come back. I just, Matt Gaetz. I don't know why they haven't locked up that pedophile, but they should.
Yeah, but we're gonna come back. And okay, by the way, the cancel culture strikes again, and we're going to talk about who they're coming after next in 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Oh, don't forget my co-host, comedian extraordinaire Sandy Hackett. We'll be right back.
Okay, I'll come back.
All right, we're on break. So Cynthia Nixon ran for governor of New York in
New York,
2019, and Roseanne Barr ran for president in 2012. She was a part of the Green Party.
The Green, yeah, I remember that.
Well, thank you, number one. And running for governor in New York, you have no chance, because if you're going to be governor of New York, you have to do illicit things. You have to go grope women. In her case, you would have to grope men. You have to, what was the guy, Elliot Spitzer? You have to have hookers in the governor's mansion. But but before you get to the governor's mansion, you got to start with them somewhere else.
Oh, look, and Bill Clinton didn't give you a new definition of a cigar? I mean, come
on. Yes, but I don't smoke cigars. And maybe that's the reason why.
Oh no, but no. I mean that's what it is.
1 minute warning.
Some people still believe that women are either too tough for politics or not tough enough or too frail. So they just.
Who did Cynthia lose to? Did she lose to Cuomo?
Chaz.
I'm sorry. What was the question? I'm sorry. I'm editing.
Cynthia Nixon. Who did she lose to?
Let me see.
What year?
2019.
Cuomo.
But she wasn't even she wasn't even the candidate in her own party. She just put herself into the.
No, I don't even think she won the primary.
Right. She went up against an incumbent, which is pretty tough to do.
Yeah.
Looking to see
that star power did her in.
Yeah, Cuomo.
Yeah, and it's amazing because in California, when you're watching the beginning of COVID and Cuomo asking for respirators, and you go, wow, this guy's really charismatic and a great governor and all this kind of stuff. And then when you read the New York papers about Cuomo, you go, well, there's a whole other story to be told. And I don't know what to believe, except the state handled it and he stepped down. So I go, I'm in California. I'm not sure that my opinion, I can have an opinion about it, but I don't get to vote on it. And it doesn't count. And in the end, he stepped down for whatever reason, because he thought it was the right thing to do, or because he was embarrassed, or whatever. I find it hard to believe that it wasn't even that he had illicit sex. He touched some woman on the shoulders. I don't know what he did or didn't do. I don't know.
See, the thing about the Cuomo case with me is that the timing was just overly convenient. I mean, he was on national TV, taking on the president and saying, "You keep talking about you're sending money for masks and ventilators, and we don't have any, and I got people dying, and I will need the ventilators. Send the ventilators. You got the ventilators." And I mean, he stood up for his state. And then the next thing you know, all of these people start popping up. Me too, me too, me too, me too. I mean, don't get me wrong. Um, the police officer in her testimony was very convincing, and I feel really bad about it. But there are far more and more we're running into politicians that become demigods and feel like they can do anything to anybody and anytime they want, and that part has to actually change. It has to stop. But speaking of change and stop, the cancel culture strikes again. Now, the woke mob of America has over 2 million signatures to have Amber Heard removed from Aquaman 2, the movie. I mean, the woke mob, now, according to it, I don't know if you've seen any of the clips of the testimony with Johnny Depp.
I've watched a little bit, but to me, all that stuff is sensationalism. That it's on television, that you can see it because they're celebrities. It's a personal situation, and if they weren't celebrities, no one would care, and it wouldn't be televised, and we wouldn't see it. So that's her job. And the 2 million people, the studio's not going to. I mean, I'm sure Aquaman 2 is $100 or $200 million film, and cutting her out of it would cost either recast, reshoot, would cost a bloody fortune. And so are those 2 million people say, well, I'm not going to go see the movie? There's still another 300 million people that may. So, I don't know if you run into a situation where you don't get along with someone. Yeah, that's divorce. And that's what couples do and fight and stuff like that. But should you lose your job? Did she do anything illegal? I don't know. I haven't been watching or paying attention because I go, I don't, that's their life.
Well,
Johnny's got to sit through that, and whatever she did, he's got to sit through that, and whatever he did, she's got to go through that. There are these divorces all the time that are, now you're talking about Will Smith and Jada maybe getting divorced and being very expensive, and I'm going, based on what, a slap, or there's a history of other stuff in the relationship that's not right. So do you think they should cancel her? You think they should take her out of the movie?
Well, I'm not part of the cancel culture, but if I don't know the dynamics of their marriage and relationship, however, if my wife so happens to, have sex, or as she called it, an entanglement with one of my friends, the last person I'm going to slap is Chris Rock. Okay, I can tell you that. But so yeah, and that's the thing about one of the worst things about being in the public eye uh, is because you're in the public eye, and even when I ran for office, being in the public eye, people find the most incredible things to make it seem real. I mean, really, true, and people will.
Yes, real and sensationalism. So
Yeah, exactly.
here in California, they wanted to recall the governor, and somehow they got enough signatures to have a vote on it, which cost I don't know how much money, but it failed miserably in the end. And when they thought, oh, it's going to be really close, it's neck and neck. The governor kept his job by 40% or 60 something, maybe almost 70%. It was
close.
It wasn't close at all. It was
no close to 70%.
Right. It wasn't. So, Amber, whatever she is, if she got hired as an actress to play a part in a movie, that's a job, and so you had a bad relationship with a guy. Should you be canceled for that? No.
Well, should because you didn't get everything you want in a divorce, should you therefore slander him? And that's what the defamation suit is all about.
But that's them going at each other. That's a personal thing for a court to decide. You shouldn't have said this. You shouldn't have said that. But you did this. But you did that. Look, I fight with my wife. We get into it, and then the next day you make up, or you don't. You're mad for a few days. But life is not easy. We all have different opinions about things. I'm still looking for my first fight with you. We haven't had it yet, but we'll make up.
Okay. All right. So now, school boards across the country in a huge national meeting of superintendents. They were debating to remove letter and number grades from. I don't get it. I mean,
You're pro it or against it?
you know what? I don't care. Let me be honest with you. I don't care.
You don't care if they remove it or don't remove it, or I mean, because honestly, it's an evaluation system, and our world and our life seems to be in some sort of evaluation system. Our president is an evaluation system based on voting. Our Congress people, our senators are based on evaluation system based on voting. That's when there's job performance and the constituents can go, or the voters can go and say, I like what they're doing. I don't like what they're doing. They're staying, they're going. And that's a different type of cancel culture because it's a process that you subscribe to. So in education, this grade, I look back to school and I go, it was really tough. I mean, when you middle grade, early primary school, middle school, high school, all grades and stuff like that. But then when you get to college, there's still grades. But by college, you get to pick the where you want to go, how you want to go, what you want to study. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a doctor. So if I want to be a lawyer, I don't have to take biology. But if I want to be a doctor, I don't have to take a civics course. And eventually in life, you move on into the places that you want to be in. And you go, I either know how to do geometry or trigonometry, or you go, I can add, subtract, and multiply. I know how much change I should get back when I go to the grocery store. My math is good. Now I want to go create other things where math isn't important, or I can plug it into a formula or check it on a computer. So I don't know that the grading system is the best thing in the world. And if they get rid of it, it's not that I don't care, but I don't see an issue with that, because the goal is for a student to learn. And if you create an environment where they learn and it's not based on, did you get an A? Is that the reward for an A, that you know more? Because Stephen Jobs dropped out of college and created one of the biggest companies ever. I don't know what the educational of Jeff Bezos is. I don't know what his background is, and some other people. But there are a lot of people that, the educational thing didn't work, but they still turned out to be, change our lives for their intellect.
Okay, Sandy, here's the thing, and this is why I say I don't care. Whether the kids are getting numbers and letters, or whether they're getting X's and O's, whether they're getting pass and not pass, or satisfactory, unsatisfactory, and mediocre, it's still going to be a level of hierarchy. All they're doing is just changing it from one name to the other. Just like they changed illegitimate child. You know what they call them now? Single parent families. It's still the same thing. Oh, by the way, just like they changed the name of crack addicts, now they're opioid addicted. It's still the same thing. We keep changing the language and everything so that people don't have a level of shame or guilt to what they do. We want to change it from D's and E's to unsatisfactory because we want to lose that level of guilt and stigma attached to the D and the E. Well, here's the thing. If your child is earning D's and E's, changing it to unsatisfactory doesn't help anything. What you need to do is help the child study more. I'm really sick and tired of this little whitewashed milk toast. A kid comes and he's celebrating. Yeah, I got a trophy for baseball. I'm looking at the trophy and it says participant. What the heck does he get a trophy for being a participant? You either win or you don't. It's in the losing. It's in the losing and winning, which gives you the decision to move forward, or to study more, or to practice more, or to work on things more so that you can get better at it. But when we get into the situation where we want to be politically correct and everybody's a winner, or not everybody, or everybody's doing well in school, although they got unsatisfactory marks, then we're lying to the kids. We're not making America great. We're making them dumber. Michael Jordan went through the greatest failure of his life. He got cut from high school basketball. Loser. But he didn't sit up there and go, well, I was a participant. No. He said, well, let me learn how to shoot.
Well, I agree with you there. The satisfactory, unsatisfactory, and I go back to when I went to school, those were conduct remarks, not grade remarks related to your work. A through F was what your grade was. So my parents were always concerned, don't be rude in class. So you have to have a satisfactory remark for having respect for the teacher. The problem is as I've gotten older and been around teachers, some are incredible, and there are so many people that can tell you, I want to thank my teacher, my history, my math, my this, whatever, that showed me and taught me, and I learned so much from, and were a big process of my life. And then there are teachers that, I go, who let you into a classroom to teach? and I don't really care what your opinion of my child is, because at home I know how bright and articulate my child is, or I know what kind of challenges my child has and the kind of help they need that they're not getting from you. So
exactly.
the respect of a teacher, yes, I would prefer that my child respect a teacher, but when a teacher disrespects my child, I don't expect my child to then go above and beyond to do anything just because they're older, go, oh, I should respect you, even though you're a moron.
Well, I'm sorry, but in my neighborhood, they had Catholic schools, which were the private schools, and
Yeah.
of course public school. And the worst thing that could ever happen to a child is that he be disciplined by a nun, because those nuns could move those rulers like samurai swords. And not only that, the nun would, all the other kids would, jump in on you for, being disrespectful and rude to the nun. Then they come home and tell your mother, who would, of course, tear your butt up for being disrespectful and rude to the nun. And then now you got to wait until dad comes home.
Because in those times that you're talking about, the nun would take a ruler and smack you on your hands or your knuckles, correct?
Right.
For being whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the people listening that are young, because we don't do that today, but when I was young, I wrote left-handed. And I got smacked on the knuckles for writing with my wrong hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're doing is wrong. I go, well, that's where. So, that's, and look, we've gone past that, but we have a long way to go. And eventually, as we watch technology and, it used to be you turn on your television at home, there were 4 channels, 3 channels, and a couple local channels, and you could sit there and honestly say there's nothing to watch. Now with everything, Hulu and Netflix and Disney Plus and Roku and Amazon and Apple and plus the networks, plus the cable, it's impossible. When someone says, there's nothing to watch, and I go, okay, you're not really looking hard enough.
What do you just got an antenna? I mean, what are you standing outside with a rabbit ear? I mean,
right. There is something for everybody. Look, you can go to YouTube and type in anything and find some sort of programming on it. Or
hopefully type in this show. Yeah.
Yes. So it's hard to say that there's nothing anymore, and we are changing, evolving as a society. Last night, my wife is talking to me about the crypto and all that kind of stuff. I don't understand it for the life of me. I don't know what it is. We sat here, she explained the whole thing to me, and I said, so? She goes, don't ask me any questions. I don't even know what I told you. I don't even understand it myself, And then she pull up a picture. Here's a cat. Here's a picture of a cat, a digital picture of a cat that sold for $175,000. And I go, okay, I can't digest that. And she goes, neither can I. I don't get it. I don't get what they bought, how they did it, how the transaction. But our kids are learning this stuff in school, and the next generation is only going to grow up with this stuff and understand it, and it's going to be intrinsic to them. I'm at the age where, yes, I use a computer, I use email, but my dad never touched a computer in his life. He never was around when a cell phone came out. They had the big clunky ones, and we got him one, but the smartphone he was never around for. So I'm amazed that I have friends that don't do email, that are
Mhm.
my age, 65 years old, and no, I don't touch a computer. You have a phone? Yeah. Can I send you a text? I don't know how to text. What? I mean, it's amazing to me. But the generations are, and if I go back to my own heritage of Judaism, when Moses took us out of the desert and said, God said you're going to go for 40 years. Why? Because you were soft when you were slaves, and you came out of here and you just want to make a golden cow and pray to that, and you don't know how to live and survive off the land, and you're not ready to go into the land of Canaan, of milk and honey. So it's the same thing. Some of us aren't ready for crypto or whatever's coming, but it's coming, and there's nothing we can do about it. And our kids are going to know it, or their kids are going to know about it, if there's still a planet here and we haven't destroyed it, by the way.
Yeah, when speaking of destroy the planet, when they actually started changing over how we have children, I want to be a candidate for the old way. Okay, so we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk a little bit more with my co-host for today, comedian Sandy Hackett. I'm Vincent Squire with Sandy Hackett. This is what you got to say. We'll see you in 36 seconds.
Okay, we're out.
Okay, Sandy, let's talk about your heart tour.
Well, there is no heart tour at the moment, but I'm working on those things. But let's go back to those things, and we'll just finish up with that for the last second. For the last minutes, we don't have to.
What? Changing times?
Let's go back to the celebrity candidates only work for men, because I'm just not sure that I don't know anything much about Shirley Temple, except that she was an actress, so she might have been before her time. Roseanne running for president was kind of a joke.
Not only was she an actress, she was also a diplomat.
All right, you ready to come back?
Shirley Temple.
All right, come back in 5, 4, 3.
Okay, so during the break, we were talking about the celebrities that it didn't work for. Well, let's look at Nixon. Didn't work for her being governor in New York. I mean, she was a pretty smart girl, and she does know politics.
But she ran against an incumbent, so she didn't even get on the ticket. So it's not like she really, really lost. She ran against an incumbent. She might have, from a political point of view, taken a bad time to run, to go, oh, let me run against the incumbent governor, who at the time appears to, look, it's hard to beat an incumbent. And you can, but that she didn't even get on to become the nominee of the ticket. So you can't go, well, it was her against so-and-so in the final race. So right. I can't take her candidacy really seriously, although maybe that was just what you do first, and then she goes to, doesn't she have a position now somewhere? She became a council person, or I don't even remember. I don't keep up with all that, but she's doing something somewhere.
I think she's still a political insider, but
Roseanne Barr is funny, star on television. My experience with Roseanne, she's always been, I don't know her particularly well, but she's talented, she's funny. But when she ran for president, she ran for the Green Party. So no one from the Green Party's ever made a dent, except the one year that Ross Perot ran. I don't even think he was the Green Party, just was another party, and made enough of a dent to help the other candidate, because he took some votes away from George Bush.
Yeah.
And Shirley Temple, before my time, really, she was an ambassador. So someone recognized her for who she was, and and the president appointed her an ambassador. And someday someone will become, whatever. They'll run for office as a celebrity. They'll be a celebrity and run for office. But I think you also have to be, make your decisions widely. You got to be flavor of the month. You can't go running against a popular incumbent or someone that enough people feel is doing his job, and you're going, oh, in our own party we've got either the incumbent Andrew Cuomo, or we
Mario.
Huh?
Mario.
That was the father, and the son's name
Andrew,
also Mario. Right.
Yeah.
So you Junior. So you've got a popular incumbent on the party ticket, and they go, we're going to stick with him. He's already there. Everybody knows who he is. He's got brand name recognition, and you had too much sex in the city for me to vote for.
Well, Okay, so the candidate who played on Sex in the City loses to the other candidate who actually had sex in the city.
No, he had sex in the governor's mansion. It's very different.
Oh yeah.
One was a tramp and had it everywhere, and one was very good and only had it in his own home.
Oh yeah. But you would think one of the most popular child stars in history should have enough star power to win.
But what did she? Again, I don't know what she ran for, but the fact that she became a ambassador means that someone took her seriously. They knew who she was. She understood her stuff, and she was a great emissary for our country. To go and be an ambassador for another thing. And I'm not anti any of that. Look, the public spoke. They didn't vote for her. And maybe that's just the way it is now. At the moment, we haven't had a female president. We finally have a female vice president, but they voted her with a male atop of the ticket. It could have been Hillary, but it wasn't. And one day we will have a female president. And we know for a fact, female leaders are wonderful. Angela Merkel, Golda Meir, and there are many others. What's her name from the Philippines? Only cared about shoes. But
Nova Marcos.
Yeah, but so she might have not been the most perfect example, but there's people out there. And look, let's not forget.
No, she wasn't a good one.
Ran for president.
No, she wasn't a good one at all.
Okay, so I picked 2 out of 3. But when Roseanne ran for president, let's not forget her singing the national anthem and grabbing herself. I mean, if you're American, you kind of feel disrespected by that.
Well, let's not forget her singing the national anthem, getting booed, and then spitting.
But she grabbed herself first.
First, yeah. as in letting them know what part that they could kiss.
I guess, but it's not the way to endear yourself to the voting to the people that are going to vote.
Oh, but what she did, was that any worse than Trump? I mean, really? I mean, the man got on tape and he says, "Yeah, I like to grab the pee." I mean, come on.
It was
still got elected.
Yeah, but he was a lot of things that she wasn't, because she was disdainful, and Trump got people to believe in him and tell people, I can do whatever I want. And I'm always amazed at political candidates who comes out of the fires and stuff like that. When you go, wow, there's someone really bright, they would have been a great political candidate. And then the people that you think would be a great political candidate, they go, I don't want to do that. I don't want to open up my life and fill out all these forms and let the press attack me every day. You ran for office. What is that like for you? Now you're open up and everybody can go looking at anything and say anything. Vincent is a Vincent. And you go, wow, I just want to serve my country or my town or my parish, whatever it is, and make life better.
Well, first of all, I knew, look, in terms of being a candidate, I know that I'm not a perfect man, but I am real. So with me, everything was like, okay, this is full disclosure. This is the mistakes that I've made in my life. This is the success that I had in my life. But I've learned from both of those to help better this situation. And that turned into a feeding frenzy. People were trying to find things and make up things about my life that, never even happened. Like one day I came home, my wife was talking about how on social media, I'm with this beautiful woman and who am I cheating on her with? So once we saw the picture, it was my daughter I was walking down the street with.
Hey, when I was 18 years old, I ran for
wait a minute. Here's something that's really funny. There was one guy who said on social media, and it blew up everywhere, that I owed over $1 million in property taxes in the city of Pennsauken, New Jersey. There's no property in Pennsauken worth $1 million. I mean,
but that's the problem when you put yourself out there. It is very obvious to me we don't have the best people that are politicians because they don't want to go through the process of opening up their lives to everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
Stephen
true.
Jobs might have been a great politician, but he went, I want to create what I want to create, and I want to be in charge, and I don't have to answer to anybody. And Steve Jobs had a great sentence about his statement about the iPhone. And they said, well, we don't know if they want that. He says, we'll let them know what they want.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Trump wants to do that, but the problem is that he wants to do it in a political arena, not a technical arena where people go, wow, look at that. We got to have one of those.
Well, one thing I'll say about 45 is that he really had the ability to relate to people that, you know, were considered unrelatable, and they were endeared to him and would do anything for him, like break every law and storm the Capitol.
They felt unrepresented, and they thought that he was actually going to do something, and they didn't realize, and they still don't to this day, don't realize they're being used. That
To
he
this
could care
day,
about
to this day, they don't realize that he was the main person exploiting them.
right.
Yes, yeah. So and so let's look at another. But what we have to do is sign off because it's 6 o'clock, and people in Comcast are going, I want to hear more. Well, you can follow us on Roku, YouTube, Facebook. What you got to say. I'm Vincent Squire. For those of you, I'm going to continue on this conversation with a couple more minutes with Sandy. So, if God's will, I'll see you Monday morning to discuss the issues of our life. On behalf of me, my co-host, Sandy Hackett, everybody on Comcast, deuces. Okay, Sandy. So like people, like, you know, you would think, how could people be so dumb to not know that they're being used?
But
I mean,
that's for those of us that are not that dumb. That's what we look at and go, you got to be kidding me. Are you that blind or dumb?
and they were, yet, you know, they I mean, like, okay, so they went to one of these Trump rallies, and they were like, you know, he needs to get rid of that Obamacare. He needs to get rid of that Obamacare. So they said, well, how do you feel about the Affordable Care Act? I like that. We need more of that, but get rid of the Obamacare.
I mean, look, stupid is as stupid does. I mean, how do you not know that they're the same thing?
That's the point. And yet these people are if they don't know that much about the care or health care for them, then how much do they truly know about the candidate that they're putting their trust in and
They
ready
don't.
to
And
give their
how
lives
many
to?
of those? How many of those people, to what you're saying, didn't have health care? All of a sudden, they pass the Affordable Care Act, and all of a sudden they go, "Oh, well, I got health care now, and I got assistance from the government, and I need a heart procedure, and I need diabetes, I need some, and it's all paid for now by the government." And you go, "What do you think about Obama?" We got to get rid of that Obamacare. That's going to kill us. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
your life.
Or some people who hate Obamacare because they couldn't qualify for it, or it didn't suit their particular needs. Yet one of the things about Obamacare is what it didn't cover, it now made you qualify for Medicare. So you
Right.
got even better coverage.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So we keep dealing with so many uninformed people, yet they spend their time and they vote. And all it takes is one charismatic politician to rope them into something, and this is where we are. You know, 2 years of isolation. You know, crime is at an all-time high. Domestic violence is up. Alcohol and drug abuse is up. Also, the overabundance and sale of condoms happen to have risen too. But let's look at, but all because instead of him taking action against a disease like his other predecessors, the people that he preceded, he sat up there and said, it's a fake. It's fake news. There is no virus. It's a Democratic ploy. Believe me. And then he
And they
started saying,
believed
well, it's
him,
going away.
and they believed him, and a lot of those people are dead.
That's it. So somebody who's so charismatic and yet you are so dumb and blind and willing to be used by them, you lead so many people to their death unnecessarily. That was the sadness, and that was the one thing that I hate about politics. and the people who telling me that I needed to toe the line for that. That's why I got out.
I don't blame you, because you're trying to do the right thing and you got people lying about you, telling what you're doing, what you're trying to achieve on behalf of them is wrong.
No. Well, when you're in politics and people lie about you, that's just part of the silly season, because they can't beat you standing on the truth, nor can they go head to head with you in an intellectual battle to discuss issues or policies or changes or how you can help people. I mean, where I was running for, this county had a huge degree of foreclosed houses on seniors and our elderly. They had taxed them out so high that people who have worked 30 and 40 years couldn't pay for the taxes and they got foreclosed on. You know, so they couldn't see any way of policy change of that. Or even a policy change that says that, you know what, maybe one of the ways to keep crime down is not letting our police officers who work for the city move out of the city. Because nobody's going to actually rob a house when you know a cop lives next door. You know, or the simple fact of saying that, you know what, maybe some of these, maybe we should stop lying about a consistent increase in a school in our school board and our school budget, yet filtering the money to all these other people and cronies. Come on, that doesn't make sense. Or a consistent, or saying that we don't raise taxes. No, you don't raise taxes. You raise the school taxes and not the property taxes. So if you just raise the property taxes and spent it the way we're supposed to, we wouldn't get. We're still getting the same raise that's coming out of the school tax. So it's the same thing as saying, okay, this child's got an A, or this child is doing exceptional, or this child got a D, or this child's doing satisfactory. It's the same thing. Yet we're dealing with people who are just so dumb that, you know, they believe that. You know, and that was the whole thing that I could not stomach. And as much as, you know, as much as I hated it, you also have to remember why you're doing it. You're doing it to help people who can't help themselves. You're doing it to bring some change instead of cronyism. Because what cronyism does is actually increases the profitability of a particular clique or group. Yet the other 97% of the population are suffering. So, you know, you do it to break that up. You do it so that people can have an actual good quality of life. I mean, how much of a quality of life do you have as a senior where you have to decide to pay your taxes or to buy your medication?
Well, and there's a lot of people out there that even when you're trying to do something nice for them, they're suspicious. So it's hard to overcome that sometimes.
Yeah, people want to know, you can't be that genuinely real or nice. Oh,
Right.
yeah. Well, hey, that stuff happens. But Sandy, I've got to go because my producer has an appointment. Okay, so
We'll see you. We'll see you same next week. Same bat channel. Same bat time.
I'm Vincent Squire with
Sandy Hackett, and you can find me at sandyhackett.com. Thank you, and have a good week.
Bye-bye. So, Sandy,
Yes,
wait till
sir.
Chaz cuts us off.
All right, we're out.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
No problem, guys.
So, Sandy,
Yes.
where were we? Oh, yeah. I don't know if I'm going to press the right button or not. Give me a call. I want to talk to you about next week. I think you are going to take the lead on this one.
I thought I was going to take the lead after my son graduated.
Yeah, I know. Okay. All right. Take partial lead on this one.
What do you mean?
The subjects.
When do you want to talk?
Give me a call in about 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.